I agreed to an open relationship. But not like this. He made the rules for our open relationship, yet he broke all of them. When Alex first suggested an open relationship, I laughed because I thought it was a joke. We'd been together for 6 years, living together for 3, and had what I believed was a solid, boring in a good way relationship. We argued about dishes, finances, and which show to watch, not about trust or loyalty. So when he said, "What would you think about opening things up?" I honestly thought he was testing a theory he heard on a podcast. He wasn't. He explained it calmly, like he'd rehearsed it. He said he loved me, that nothing was missing, but that he believed monogamy was outdated and restrictive. He framed it as growth, honesty, and freedom. I remember sitting on the couch, nodding slowly, while my stomach tightened. I didn't want to be the insecure, close-minded partner. I didn't want to lose him either, so I asked questions. Rules were discussed. No friends. No co-workers. No bringing anyone into our shared apartment. Full transparency. Protection. Emotional boundaries. He agreed to everything immediately, which I took as a good sign at the time. I told myself I was strong enough for this. Modern enough. Mature enough. The first few weeks were quiet. Alex didn't go on dates, or at least he said he didn't. I didn't either. Life continued as normal work, groceries, cooking dinner together. Almost too normal. I started to wonder if the whole conversation had been hypothetical after all. Then one Friday night, he said he was going out for drinks with someone he met online. He said it casually while tying his shoes. I smiled, wished him fun, and closed the door after him. The moment the lock clicked, I sat on the floor and cried harder than I had in years. When he came back, he was cheerful and relaxed. He told me the date was fine, but nothing special. He kissed my forehead and went to sleep. I stared at the ceiling all night, trying to convince myself this was what I agreed to. What I didn't know was that this was just the beginning and that Alex had already started breaking the rules before I'd even finished learning how to live with them. Over the next 2 months, Alex started going out more often. Dinners, late meetings, weekend plans that didn't include me. Every time I asked, he reassured me. He always used the same phrases. "I'm being honest. You said you were okay with this. This doesn't change how I feel about you." I tried to be okay with it. I even went on a few dates myself, mostly to prove to myself that I could. They were awkward and unfulfilling. I'd spend the whole time comparing strangers to Alex, then come home feeling emptier than before. One night, Alex came home later than usual. He smelled different new soap, unfamiliar cologne. When I asked about it, he shrugged and said the bar had fancy restrooms. I knew it was a lie, but I didn't push. I didn't want to become suspicious, controlling, or that partner. The cracks started showing when I noticed his phone habits change. He tilted the screen away from me, took calls in another room, smiled at messages he wouldn't explain. I reminded myself that privacy was part of this new arrangement, but something felt off. This wasn't openness. It was secrecy. Then I ran into Maya at the grocery store. She smiled at me like she knew me. Like really knew me. She asked how I was, mentioned Alex by name, and casually said, "He talks about you all the time." My chest went cold. Maya was one of Alex's co-workers. A direct violation of the rules we'd set together. When I confronted him that night, he didn't deny it. He sighed, sat down, and said it just happened. He said the rules were guidelines, not laws. He said I was overreacting. That was the first time I realized something important. The open relationship wasn't mutual exploration. It was Alex doing whatever he wanted, while I twisted myself into knots trying to be understanding. He promised to end things with Maya. Promised to recommit to our boundaries. I wanted to believe him so badly that I did. That trust would cost me more than I ever imagined. Things seemed better for a while. Alex was attentive again. He cooked dinner, planned a weekend trip, even suggested couples counseling just to check in. I let myself relax. I thought maybe we'd survive the worst of it. Then I found the email. I wasn't snooping. His laptop was open on the kitchen table, and a notification popped up while I was walking past. A hotel confirmation. 2 nights. 1 room. His name and Maya's. My hands started shaking before my brain caught up. We had explicitly agreed no overnights. No emotional entanglements. No co-workers. And here it all was, laid out in black and white. When I confronted him, he didn't apologize. He got defensive. He said I was invading his privacy. He said I was trying to control him. Then he said something that still echoes in my head. This is what an open relationship actually looks like. You just can't handle it. That sentence broke something in me. He tried to turn it around, saying I was jealous because I wasn't taking advantage of the arrangement like he was. He accused me of being passive, of holding him back, of agreeing to something I didn't mean. Maybe he was right about one thing. I hadn't meant this. That night, I slept on the couch. The next morning, Alex left for work without saying goodbye. I stared at the walls of the apartment we'd built together and realized I felt more alone living with him than I ever had by myself. I called my sister and told her everything. She didn't interrupt. When I finished, she said, "This isn't an open relationship. This is him cheating with permission." That clarity hit me like a wave. Alex came home that evening, excited about his upcoming trip. He froze when he saw his suitcase by the door. I told him I was the one leaving. For the first time since this all started, he looked scared. Alex begged. He cried. He said he'd misunderstood the boundaries. That he'd gotten carried away. That he loved me and didn't want to lose me. He even offered to close the relationship again, suddenly willing to be monogamous now that I had one foot out the door. I asked him a simple question. If I hadn't found the email, would you have told me? He didn't answer. That silence told me everything I needed to know. I moved in with a friend temporarily. The first few nights were rough. I questioned myself constantly. Was I too rigid? Too emotional? Had I failed at being progressive enough? Social media didn't help. Everywhere I looked were posts about ethical non-monogamy, communication, and trust. But the more distance I had, the clearer things became. Consent isn't consent if it's pressured. Boundaries don't mean anything if only one person respects them. And love doesn't make you feel small, confused, or replaceable. Alex kept texting. Long messages. Apologies mixed with blame. He said Maya meant nothing, then later admitted he'd developed feelings. He said he was learning. I realized I didn't want to be a lesson. A week later, I went back to the apartment with him there to collect the rest of my things. It felt strange, like visiting a place from a past life. He watched me pack, quiet and defeated. When I left, he said, "I never meant to hurt you." I believed him, but intentions don't erase impact. It's been a year since I left. I'm living alone now, in a small place that's entirely mine. The quiet no longer feels heavy, it feels peaceful. I've gone to therapy. I've learned how to listen to my instincts instead of silencing them to keep someone else comfortable. I don't think open relationships are inherently wrong. I've met people who make them work with honesty and care. But I've also learned that agreeing to something out of fear isn't the same as wanting it. And that compromise should never require self-erasure. Alex reached out a few months ago. He said he regretted everything, that he wished he'd done things differently. I wished him well and didn't respond again. Sometimes I still replay that first conversation in my head. I wonder what would have happened if I'd said no. But I don't regret leaving. I regret staying as long as I did. If you're reading this and you're in a situation where your needs are constantly minimized in the name of being open-minded, please hear this. Discomfort isn't growth when it's one-sided. Love should expand your world, not shrink you inside it. I agreed to an open relationship, just not like that.